Pfizer data release, 1,223 reported fatalities during 3-month period out of 42,000 adverse reaction reports. But that's just the beginning.
It's about 38 to 40 pages long, but the relevant part is page 30. If you just scroll down the document to page 30, you'll see the heading says Appendix 1, List of Adverse Events of Special Interest. And then look at this, my friends. Look at how many side effects, adverse events were recorded before the end of February of last year. Now, our public health officials told us this vaccine is perfectly safe. There are very few people for whom this vaccine is contraindicated. You will not get hurt. It's very, very rare. Ignore any stories, anecdotal stories that you hear about this. You will be fine. This is what our public health officials told us. Meanwhile, Pfizer knew this. They knew that, I mean, look at some of these side effects: epilepsy, lupus, seizures, encephalitis, that's swelling of the brain, for those who don't know, acute kidney injury, acute myocardial infarction, acute respiratory failure, anaphylactic shock, thrombosis of all different kinds, by the way, that is a blood clot, arthritis, asymptomatic COVID-19. Oh, you can get COVID-19 from the COVID-19 vaccine. We're specifically told that that could not happen. Yet Pfizer and their document says it, in fact, can. Autoimmune anemia. This stuff is nuts. I mean, that's about what, 10 things that I wrote? 10 things. If you look at this document, it's shocking. It's shocking. It essentially admits that this vaccine can cause you to miscarry your baby. This can cause you to die in any number of truly horrific ways. It can trigger autoimmune issues. There's blood clots out the wazoo of all different kinds here. Organ injuries. I mean, this is nasty, nasty stuff. This is the kind of stuff that in order for people to have informed consent about, they need to understand first the risk of COVID-19. What is COVID-19? What is the individual risk? What's the infection fatality rate based on different risk factors? Is there anything you can do to mitigate those risks if you already contract COVID-19? And then you compare that, you weigh that information against, okay, what is this vaccine? What is the effectiveness rate on it? What are the risks? What can it harm? What harm can it bring? You have to be able, in order to give your informed consent to this kind of medical procedure, you have to be able to understand the pros and the cons. The pros and the cons that Pfizer was well aware about. They had it documented in this document that they didn't want to release for 70 years. They wanted to hide it from us until our grandchildren are literally adults. And when I say our grandchildren, I'm 32, so I'm talking about my grandchildren. 70 years. We're going to be long dead in 70 years. They knew about this. And what's worse, if Pfizer knew about this, that means our public health officials, that means Fauci, which means that the Biden administration knew about this, and they've hid this from the American people.
The information here was supposed to be held for 75 years. Tell the audience, why is it so important that that the courts deem that it was important to release this information now?
The courts have forced Pfizer and the FDA to comply with the law, which is that after licensure is granted, these documents must be made available. Previously, they're considered confidential. We have been forced to take these vaccines, and we have been told that they're fully safe and effective. What this documents is the government has been well aware that they are not fully safe and has hidden this information from us. What that really matters for Pfizer is that the indemnification clauses require that Pfizer disclose known adverse events, and this documentation demonstrates they didn't do so. So a lot of the lawyers are licking their chops over this because it seems to indicate a break in the veil that may allow legal action basically due to fraud and concealment of these risks from the general public. This is why you have not been able to have full informed consent, is they've hidden all this information from you, and they've used all of the propaganda and censorship tools, which you're about to cover, in paid media to keep all this information from you and spin it so that you think that the left is the right and the up and the down is the up and the moon is made of green cheese.
y están escritas, entre otras cosas, fuimos los primeros que analizamos, y me he puesto las gafas para leerles cosas tal y como vienen en el documento de Pfizer-BioNTech que presentó el 20 de noviembre a la FDA, que es el organismo regulatorio de Estados Unidos, para pedir la autorización de uso de emergencia, ¿vale? No la aprobación. No están aprobados. Que nadie le diga eso. Bueno, son extraídos del documento de Pfizer oficial, ¿vale? Observen las frases. La vacuna puede ser efectiva. La vacuna puede ser efectiva. Pone en el documento, ¿eh? Pone, es razonable creer que es eficaz. Es razonable creer que es eficaz. Esto parece José Mota, ¿no? Documento de Pfizer, oficial. Se lo puedo mandar a todos ustedes. Riesgos conocidos graves. En el grupo de los más jóvenes, menores de 55, insisto, Pfizer, 4,6%. Bueno, riesgos desconocidos. No hay datos suficientes. Lo sabremos cuando se autorice. Riesgos desconocidos. Pero ¿qué coño le están poniendo a su madre? Riesgos desconocidos, no tenemos ni idea. Ya veremos, ¿no? Si se mueren muchos. Enfermedad potenciada por vacunas, que espero que nos cuente mejor, que es este efecto que produce inmediato después del primer contacto con la vacunación. Dice literalmente desconocido. No es desconocido, se sabe por otras experiencias. Bueno, pues es así todo. Y no les quiero aburrir, podría seguir 6 horas. Y lo he querido leer para que no fueran mis palabras. Son el documento que luego van y dicen, oye, qué bien lo habéis hecho, Pfizer-BioNTech, vamos a darle la licencia, sí. Despedidos. Es muy duro, después de trabajar muchos años en un lugar, que a alguien le quiten su carrera y lo expulsen. Es muy duro. Y por eso hay muchos callados. Pero no permitan que les digan que la ciencia dice eso, porque no es correcto. Lo que están intentando meternos no son vacunas. No están aprobadas. Esto es científico y lo dice la propia Pfizer y Moderna en sus pliegos y lo dice incluso la propia OMS. Lo que pasa es que parece que nadie lo lee, porque ahí lo pone. Lo que están intentando hacer es una barbaridad científica. Y los efectos adversos, que no les engañen con el lenguaje, no son tener un poco de fiebre una semana o 2, no, van a ser durante el resto de su vida. Pueden aparecer un mes después o un año después. Y ahora acabo, que me paso el tiempo, pero recuerden ustedes cuando han llevado el coche a esos talleres que vas a hacer una revisión y después cuando lo sacas se le rompe el carburador, lo llevas a arreglar otros 3.000 y luego sales y se le rompe otra cosa y otra y dices, desde que voy a este taller a mi coche se le rompe todo. Y siempre el del taller le dirá, no fue por eso, esto pasó porque tenía que pasar. Esto es lo que nos van a decir durante los próximos 10 años. No, usted tiene cáncer porque le tocó. Si lo están diciendo, después de vacunar en una residencia que habían resistido a las 3 famosas olas, resulta que caen enfermos 47 y se mueren 30. Ah, no, pero es que ya no. Entonces, es todo una inmensa mentira científica.
By the way, I guess it's just a non-story now. I guess COVID is done now. We're not talking about the proposal of vaccine digital passports in all 50 states that's been done quietly overnight. We're not talking about the fact that now in parts of Europe, they're saying, okay, you know what? Never mind. You don't need a vaccine to go to work. You don't need a vaccine to travel. We're gonna actually just pull all that back. Oh, I wonder why. Why would that be? Because the data from the vaccines is now public and it's killed tens of thousands of people. And you know, that kind of pisses me off. Because you in the media and you in our government, you lied about this vaccine, where I now have the Pfizer data. Not only is it 0% effective, so not only is the vaccine 0% effective, Pfizer, who tried to hide their clinical data, has had to release it now, and they've confirmed in a 3-month period over 1,200 deaths. How many people do big pharmaceutical products have to kill until we wake up and realize what the hell's going on here? I mean, from the opiates to the painkillers to the vaccines, I mean, big pharmaceutical companies. There was just that guy on Joe Rogan like 2 days ago who's like, yeah, big pharmaceutical products, they release them, they know they kill tens of thousands of people, but once all the lawsuits and settlements are made, they still make billions of dollars, so they don't care, they shrug their shoulders and do it anyway, and nobody ever goes to jail. So they just keep murdering us with their products, and nobody ever goes to jail. They know they kill tens of thousands of people, but once all the lawsuits and settlements are made, they still make billions of dollars, so they don't care. They shrug their shoulders and do it anyway, and nobody ever goes to jail.